This world has been connected, tied to the darkness, soon to be completely eclipsed.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, proud difficulty walkthrough. We're back in Coliseum, back in the Coliseum, and then we're going to be returning to Traverse Town. So while we're here, we're going to be hitting up a Trinity space and getting some Mithril. Good old Mithril. And then we're going to be doing another cup. And I'm not too sure what this one is called, or how difficult it'll be, so we will soon find out. Don't even bother with the gold Trinity space, you'll not have it just yet. In fact, you get it for sealing this place. So this is the fill cup, the first of many more. So let's see what we've got. This is the arena, get used to fighting in it. Looks very reminiscent of a Greek version of the Cell games. So we've got soldiers, and we've got the monkey guys, which are called, is it Powerwilds, I think the name is. So this is our new Keyblade, and you'll notice it's doing a lot of damage. It's a really good Keyblade for the area because it critical, I think it's almost 100% criticals. I'm going to check that because I have a book. So let's go and have a look at it, shall we? So we've got yellow operas, we've got the green guys, we've got more Powerwild, so it's a bunch of magic. Shouldn't be too bad. I think we've got this in the bag. I'm going to have to look in the index for Keyblades, because... Apparently... Well, that's helpful. There doesn't have to that section in there. Gotta look. It's probably in the items. Items seems like a good place to house it, because I suppose you could say it is an item. Right. So this is the lower legs of the guard armor with some Powerwild. So it's all pretty simple so far. If you get in a spot of bother, use your Sonic ability, because you've got 4 MP now if you're exactly like I am. Maybe you've got more, maybe you've leveled a little bit. But the 3 wishes... Oh, interesting. 3 wishes is 100% critical with medium range. As opposed to the Wishing Star, which is in Traverse Town, which is always critical. That's the one I was thinking of. But 100% critical is pretty good. It's pretty reliable. It's not as good as obviously the Ultimate Weapon, but yeah, well. So here they come, red guys and yellow guys. One does lightning, one does fire. You can block the fire. The lightning, I'm not so sure. Feasibly, you should be able to, but once again, the timing on it is pretty stickler. And maybe you don't have guard yet, or you don't have AP put into guard, so... But none of this should give you any trouble after you've done Agrabah, because Agrabah is quite difficult compared to this place. I really need to cough because my voice is strained, but I don't want to stop the recording. So, 1 large body, 5 Powerwilds. So the large body we know... Ooh, he starts off asleep as well. So you want to get behind him if you can, knock him about a bit. The coolest thing about the arena is it's easy experience, because you don't have to worry about spawning. There's always going to be enemies to fight. The problem with the arena is none of the enemies drop anything. There's no life, there's no items, you can't farm anything, which... I really wish once you'd unlocked all the variants of the arena, it made them drop things. Because you can do it solo, you can do it time trial, you can pick your level and all sorts of different details, but... You know, it's still kind of the same thing, and you're not getting any items, so sometimes it's better to just farm. Like, one thing I wish there was that was perhaps added to Final Mix was a specific arena that is every boss fight on the game, so that if I want to go back in and do those fights and practice them, I have the option to do so, which would be really nice, because I'd do videos studying all of them, and to do that now would probably mean leveling up on Destiny Island, which is extremely fucking boring to do. Because when we get to the bosses, we don't even have guard, so I can't experiment with fancy guard techniques and, you know, doing some impressive boss encounters, because I don't even have the moves if I'm just to play the game naturally. So it's just something, it's just food for thought. But there's another round. Pretty simple stuff. Goofy's happy, at least. Two large bodies, 6 green Requiems. So you want to get rid of the Requiems because I assume that they're going to heal the large bodies. And luckily enough, at the beginning of these rounds, the enemies do seem to bunch up a lot, so you can just take them out really quickly. There's the ground slam, be aware of it. Can't be blocked, I don't think. It's one of those AoEs that just seems to bypass the block. Which makes me think that perhaps the block doesn't have iframes. It must just be triggered, and once it's triggered, then you have iframes. But these guys are no threat now that we're stronger. Another thing that would be nice in the Coliseum, you'll notice that the threat level goes from red to blue, and when it's blue you can normally hit your menus and do items, but in the Coliseum you can't, it just pauses the game, which is baffling and stupid. But here is the guard armor's legs and hands, and a bunch of the Powerwilds. So I recommend either killing the armor first or the Powerwilds. I think I'm going to go for the Powerwilds, so I can isolate the boss and then beat it up when I'm not at risk of getting mashed. I have been messing around parrying and teching this opponent. Like, that move there can be both teched and parried. It's just one of those things where it does stop the attack, but it doesn't really give him much recovery time. The cool thing about this boss is it does, take a while for it to make up its mind in what it's going to do, so that's really useful. But Goofy and Donald are already dead. It's a running theme on Proud. But there is the legs. That is the end of the round. Yes, you did, Goofy. Not too sure why it keeps focusing on you, because you did balls all just then. So the first seed is the armoured guy. So it's the torso of the guard armour, and he's surrounded by yellow operas, and is it blue Rhapsodies, I think they're called. So it's a lot of bad guys, and that move right there is really dangerous, but luckily enough he didn't come after me, so I didn't have to do anything about it. But it can't hit you, usually, in the corner. The camera here is just really good at this point. I'm so glad the cameraman was showing me all the important parts of the game. Which, I was the cameraman, I just wasn't moving the stick because I was locked on because it doesn't have an effect. But why would they put those pillars there if all it does is obscure the camera? And I'm all for things looking aesthetically nice, but come on guys, functionality first. That were just unforgivable. And I believe that's the end of that cup. Yep, so we get our first trophy, which I'm going to skip. And then we can get out of this place and head to Traverse Town. Another dialogue that I can't skip. And a little bit of a fact, I say fact, a little fun factoid. I watched Hercules today with my girlfriend, and it's the first time she's ever seen it. And the person that voices Hercules is not the person who voices him in this game. The person in this game is good old, is it Sean Astin, Samwise Gamgee, the guy from Goonies, which is an interesting talent to get, but it is not Hercules. And then interestingly enough, in the Recoded and in Kingdom Hearts 2, they actually get the right guy, so that's kind of strange. But back in Traverse Town, now that we've got the green Trinity mark, we can now use it inside the accessory shop. And what it's going to do is it's going to open up the ladder to the upstairs, and in the upstairs is a crafty bunch of Mughals who are doing synthesis. So this is where item creation takes place. There are 33 items to be created, and each of them are an absolute pain in the ass to do. So if you want the trophies and you want all the good gadgets for doing it, get ready for a grind. Well, that's just the case. They do have access to some of the most powerful pieces of equipment on the game, along with the most powerful weapons, so it is worthwhile. It's just to give you some kind of idea of how long I was grinding. By the time I got the last component for the last thing I had to make, Sora was level 99. I finished this game at what, level 50? Something like that. So that's quite a difference, but looking at the stuff we can create, we can do an energy bangle, which is good because it gives you, I believe it gives you a little bit more life, and a power chain, which focuses on strength. And you'll notice I'm making everything because I know I'm going to come back here and do exactly that. And what happens is when you make things, if you then come out of the menu and then talk to the Moogle again, it'll update his shop if you've made enough things. And who knows, you might be able to make a ton of stuff, so keep your eyes peeled. But trying to think if there's anything else left to do here aside from hitting Trinity marks and stuff like that. I'm talking to a Moogle. He's saying the same things. And then I'm gonna check in my equipment. Yes, I am. So there's the energy bangle, which gives me higher defense, but everything else is lesser for me. There's the power chain, which raises my strength, but it makes everything else less. So it's not really a good item for me personally, but Goofy has a slot. Ooh, and there it goes. Power chain, still kind of shitty. Kind of shitty items. Donald has a slot. Oh. Anything better? No. Yeah, well. It's one of those things where, you know, it can't all be winners, but they do have to be made if you're wanting to get these synthesis ranks. So talk to the shopkeeper, see if there's anything more that we can get from here, anything's been updated, and you'll notice his stock is getting, you know, subsequently more expensive every time we come. But back into the first district and we'll see where it takes us. So at this point you can meet Geppetto and you can talk to Pinocchio and you can get the weapon, which apparently does always hits criticals, and if you boost your strength enough that weapon could be really good, but I don't think you'd ever really use it just because there's a new Keyblade in Final Mix for beating Sephiroth, which is a really, really high crit weapon. It looks kind of stupid, but you know, I can get over that. But we've got about 5,000 money, so I'm going to stock back up on some of the potions we've been using, and I'm probably going to update the weapons for Donald and Goofy, which is something that I would recommend you try to always do, because obviously the better equipped they are, the more useful they'll be when they're alive. They don't spend all that long alive, but you know, every little helps, and they are pretty decent at distracting. One thing I hate about this game, where it's really showing its age, is how those items don't give you any reference on if they're better, what they do, how they help you. You've got to buy them and equip them, which seems really strange. But luckily enough, we looked out, we ended up buying something that is better, and you know, I figure you buy the most expensive thing, it's generally going to be better. But back into the centre of Traverse Town. Chances are we might be warping somewhere else here, guys. We just came back to do some of that. The fuck am I doing? No idea. Yep, apparently I have zero idea. All of that just to go back to the save point. That's the only problem when you come to these moments. Like, I'm not entirely sure what I came to Traverse Town to do, because I don't know what the thought process was when I was playing, because it's been a while since I recorded this. I assume it's to go to Sid and talk about gummy blocks. So he's saying something. So yeah. So the moral of this is, if you come back here, you might as well go into the synthesis area, and then you can come back over to Sid and talk to him, and he's going to talk gummy shop, and he's going to hopefully give you some good stuff. But I think that's all that's left to be done, unless you want to do some other side quests like the 100 Acre Woods or talk to some people. So there you go. Once you talk to him again, he's going to install the block, and he's going to mention how there's another one that you need to find. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head back to the place we came from, and on our way there to the next world we're going to get swallowed by Monstro, the giant whale from Pinocchio. And that will be the next level. So thank you for watching, guys. I do apologise at the end of this video, there was me running around like an idiot a little bit, but I suppose it adds character and it shows that sometimes I can be just as confused as anybody else. So you take care now.